YA book review for you of Amid Stars in Darkness by Chani Lynn Feener. And this actually is a little interesting story. The book is interesting, but how I came upon this book is I think I had seen it around Bookstagram before, and I think it was in my Amazon cart, but Chani actually sent me a conversation on Etsy at my candle shop, The Bookish Flame, and asked me to create a candle for her newest release, which I think is called Bad Things Play Here, for a character named Reese to send with the books to her beta readers. She was so happy that she ended up coming back and asking for 2 more characters for this series, which is the Xenith Trilogy, for Ruckus and Trystan. So the Bad Things Play Here is, I think it might be new adult, which kind of isn't my thing, but science fiction, totally my thing. So of course I had to read this to figure out who were the 2 characters that I was making candles for. And I'm very happy that I stumbled across this. Fun fact about Chani is that she is a hybrid author, meaning she both self-publishes, which you know that's how I do my books if you follow this channel, and she also is traditionally published. And this is a traditionally published book by the team at Spoon Reads. And before I even launch into the review, I want to shout out Spoon Reads' editing team, because as an indie, sometimes I find it frustrating to read traditionally published books and find mistakes, and I did not come across any mistakes in this book. And over the years, I've been self-publishing since 2014. My brain kind of gets into like an editing mode, and sometimes it's frustrating when I read books that maybe were rushed or whatever. So the editing team did an awesome job with this book. So basically, this book is a science fiction story. Some kind of war has taken place. The details aren't really given, at least not in this book. And Earth has been not necessarily invaded, but kind of have come to a peace treaty with some alien civilizations. And so some aliens are living among us humans. Enter in Delaney Grace. Grace is her last name. And she's kind of not really into the whole alien thing, whereas like most things, other people become like obsessed with it, you know, which is kind of her friend Mariana. And so they go to a club, and very, very early on in the story, Delaney is abducted. She's mistaken for the princess of one of the tribes on Xenith, who is supposed to be engaged to another tribe's prince, because it's part of their peace agreement. And Delaney is mistaken for this princess because the princess used some kind of device to make them look identical. And so you can imagine all the issues that poor Delaney has to go through just by that alone. And it turns out that this princess, kind of not everyone's favorite person. And so Delaney has to deal with that too, but then at the same time, Delaney has, you know, her own personality, and she can't kind of let it go. She's very strong in who she is. So basically, lots of craziness ensues. She's asked to pretend that she's the princess until they can locate the actual princess on Earth, which is Olenna. And, you know, at first Delaney's really reluctant, but they're like, hey, listen, like, this is part of our peace agreement, and if we're not at peace, the citizens of Earth aren't going to be at peace, and you're gonna screw over a whole lot of people if you don't play along, lady. And so Delaney reluctantly agrees. The right-hand man in this story, like the princess's guard, kind of like Winter and Jason in the Lunar Chronicles, is Ruckus, who I created a candle for. And he is an Ander, which is basically a commander. So throughout the story, in order to establish the world building, which Chani does an excellent job, there are you know, made up words, at least they're made up to me, maybe they're real words somewhere, for different things in the culture. So, and some of those things are explained right away, some of them are explained later, and some of them the reader needs to use context to decipher what they mean. And Ruckus is kind of a stud. I'm totally team Ruckus here. The other, her betrothed, is Trystan, and I don't know, I found him kind of like, he kind of gave off Darkling vibes, but like you don't want to date a guy like that, like no. So kind of a little bit like not really a love triangle because she's kind of appalled by Trystan, but then Trystan starts doing like weird things and you're kind of like but I'm totally for Team Ruckus. And apparently the aliens in here are like really, really tall, sexy model-like guys, so that's kind of fun. Overall, I loved this book. I gave it 4 stars because if you follow this channel, for me, a 5-star read is something that is moving in some way or kind of like alters my soul in a way. So this book is like solid. It is an enjoyable read if you want something kind of lighthearted with some romance and lots of action that will have you turning the pages. This is a great book. If you want something that's not emotionally heavy, you know, I laughed because there's some great banter in here, but it's not emotionally heavy at this point, then this is a great book for you. It's not that long. It's only 350 pages. And the cover is gorgeous. And if you follow Chani's Instagram, which is Tempest Chani, that's her username, she just released the second book's cover, and there are 2 silhouettes on that cover. So you might want to give her a follow. And I know she's going to be doing a giveaway, it's just so happens she told me, with the candles that I created. So like 2 for, I mean, you can win candles and this book is awesome. Come on. So this is totally just my opinion. And I really liked it. And I'm looking forward to the second one. Full disclosure though, this book ends on a major cliffhanger. So if that is a thing that bothers you, which usually it bothers me and I didn't know, then you may want to wait till all 3 books are out, assuming that there's only going to be 3. I know it's called a trilogy, but you know sometimes us authors stick in like novellas and things in there and other stories. Or you could read it and just deal like I have to. Or you could stop at the epilogue because the cliffhanger's in the epilogue and then read the epilogue right before you read the second book when it comes out. So there are some options there. But this was a great read. Like I said, it's kind of like science fiction light. So if you're not into the hardcore stuff, which for me, like Illuminae and Gemini are kind of like really science fiction, this is a great option to explore the genre. And I really enjoyed reading this. So Amid Stars and Darkness. And then meanwhile,